have definitely lost many friends in the past.
Each friend serves a different purpose for you in your life.
So I would just say, like, no, it's okay. It's all right. Don't worry about what you did. And I would just let things go. That is when I realized what toxic friendship is. Hey, welcome back to Spill the Chai with Nazia.
And Sonia,
Today we're going to have an episode discussing the topic of
toxic friendships.
toxic friendships. So tune in. Let's see what we unveil between our friendship and how we've gotten to know each other live on screen in front of all of you. And thank you all for your support. But we're also going to talk about how we have overcome some challenges in finding out who are the genuine people in our life, whether it is friends or unfortunately they have become foes, I should say, or
Just non-existent.
non-existent,
Yeah.
not relevant. Life goes on, alhamdulillah. But there are times in our life where we experience those genuine bonds, and subhanallah, like, people come in at the right time, at the right season in your life. And there are sometimes those that we counted on before, their paths change just as much as ours. So we want to discuss with you how we have also worked through some of those challenges that you may be experiencing. And we look forward to hearing from you and share some, input with us as well. But we love to share some of our practices on what's kept us centered in our deen, but also with our family. And at the end of the day, with who we are. So, Sonia, tell us, what are some ways that you've had to navigate through understanding the genuine bond between you and a friend from the past, present, however?
So I think for me, I've come to realize that certain people are placed in your life for a reason. Like for me personally, I've gone through many different friendships, many different close friendships. And when I'm looking back at a lot of them, I'm realizing like I'm not in touch with a lot of people. But at different seasons of my life, I feel like Allah had put them in my path for a particular reason. Either there is a lesson that I needed to learn from them, or maybe I was a resource for them. Whatever the reason was, we had our moments, and whether it's years, months, days, whatever it was at that time. But I can literally look back and know exactly some of these people that were in my life that were like really, really close friends of mine that we don't even talk anymore. And I don't know if it was just life carrying us through, or if it was drama that might have happened and fallouts that, made us go our different ways. But I know at the time those friendships were really dear to me. But, we all grow and we evolve. And as we're navigating life, we're becoming mothers, we're becoming wives, we're becoming entrepreneurs, we're going through different seasons. And we have to be able to adapt different types of people in our lives for the season that we're in.
Absolutely.
Right? So if we surround ourselves with people, I always see it as, let's be around people that are motivating you and you're aspiring to be like them. Be with people who are smarter than you, who you can learn from. Right?
Grow with, learn from.
Right.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to navigate my life to be away from people that aren't serving me or helping me grow. So if it's about talking about mindsets, gossip, whatever, it's not serving me, it's not helping me grow. So I try to limit myself away from that and surround myself with people who are looking into entrepreneurship, who are looking into rising, breaking glass ceilings, discussing ideas, discussing spirituality and
Motherhood.
because that's where I am at in my season of life, and I want to grow from that. So if I find that it's more toxic and it's more about, a path that I don't want to be on, I'm just like, I just try to distance myself from that. And again, just try to lead myself towards the people who are actually helping me raise myself in life.
I love that. And so, what are some ways that you've had to, like, what were some moments where you felt like, you know what, this is a time where this person is not going to serve their purpose in my life? How were you able to separate yourself from that individual or from that moment? Like, did you address them head on, or did you just let things just kind of go?
I think my past self, very introverted self, would just distance myself in silence. But now that I'm more aware and older and wiser and experienced, I feel like it's not the most healthiest way to do it. it's better to address these concerns and understand, like, hey, this is, because sometimes fallouts can happen without you even understanding why.
Right.
Like, let's did I do something wrong, or hey, you did this wrong, and I'm not okay with that. Like, discuss it, and if things can't be resolved, then it's that time to part.
Mm.
At that time. But, like I said, my introverted self back in my 20s and all that, it was just more of a silent distance. But, now that I know better, it's better to have that healthy conversation.
And you made me think about how you're dressing from your prior self. Like I was very similar too, but I would just say like I was an avoidant in the past. So similar to you, I would just brush things under the rug because
Mhm.
I didn't want to deal with conflict. I just didn't want to
Mhm.
have drama.
Right.
So I would just say like, no, it's okay. It's all right. Don't worry about what you did. And I would just let things go. But over time, that started to build a little bit of animosity,
Yep.
but it also built up this notion of, I can't trust you with certain friends, right? So I'm curious to know how did you also, the woman that you are today and the mother that you are today and how you're raising your children, how do you correlate from what you learned in the past to how you're raising your girls today?
It's a really good question. And I always go back to raising my children to the way my mom raised me.
Mm,
It's crazy how much undervalued moms are until they're not in your life anymore. And it stings that that's how it is. But like I value and I look up to so many things that my mom used to do for me that I'm like, man, she was really smart and very like, on top of making sure the friendships that I was around were positive influences for me. And if that meant, she had to, because my friends when I was younger, my mom was friends with their moms, and that's
love
the
that.
only way like I was allowed to be friends with them is if she knew the family. So if she knew that someone was not being a positive influence for me, she would cut off her own friendship with the mom, which, they were very close too.
Right.
And that way it would distance me too. And there were times where I didn't understand, like, mom, like, why are you doing this? Like, you're being
Mhm.
so over
Or she's
controlling.
protecting you, yeah,
Yeah, but as a teenager, you don't understand those
right.
things. Like, like, mom, like, this is so, like, we'd get into fights. But now being a mom myself, and I'm like, man, she was so smart. Like, to pull me away from these things that could have, like, really led me down a path that I didn't need to be on. So I'm very cognizant of that with my own kids. So I try to mimic that same behavior. I pay attention to the types of friends that my kids are having. And I hope, sometimes life gets busy and I'm hoping I'm not so busy, especially as they're reaching their prime years, like middle school,
Right.
high school years. This is when the drama's gonna
The
really
young
start.
adulthood.
Their peer pressure, everything, their friends and who they're surrounded by is what's gonna make them, because eventually the family is not what raises them, the influence they have around their
Their
friendships
environment,
is
absolutely,
what's going
yeah.
to shape them. So it's very important that I am paying attention. And that's why one of the biggest things that I loved about my mom was that she was so welcoming to my friends. My friends were her friends as well. Like my friends would be at my house when I'm not even home and they're just hanging out with my mom and talking to her. My mom would come out on girls' nights with us. She would come on trips, like girls' trips with us. Like that's how close my mom
I
was with my
love it.
friends. And I would love to have a similar environment with my kids,
Of
like with
course.
different, like I have two girls. So if all their girlfriends come over and hang out at our house and, and I'm hanging out with them acting silly and being goofy,
Yeah.
or I'm going out on girls' nights with them, like I would love to have that connection. So I really understand the types of influences that are around my friends. And my daughters actually have been around some friends that were not being very, kind to them.
Mm,
And I've had discussions with them like, "Did you notice this?" And my daughter's like, "No." And I'm like, "Well, I want you to pay attention
mhm.
and how it's making you feel. If it's not making you feel good, then we need to think about distancing ourselves and find another friend." So, they're gonna go through things, and I'm just glad that I'm here with them to help navigate them.
Yeah. And
I
I love that you're creating that psychological safety at home. You
Right.
talk about that as like it's thrown out a lot, in the corporate world,
Yeah.
creating psychological safety, but it is the same even as mothers at home, right?
Yeah.
It's what we rely on from our spouse, right, with our husband and how we provide that softness and nurture for our husband as well. But we also create that environment for our children. So, mashallah, I'm so proud of you.
Yeah,
Love that.
alhamdulillah, thank you. I wanna know from you because you also have 2
Two
daughters,
girls,
and
yeah.
you've lived a very, very fruitful life and with a lot of different experiences, and I'm sure
Alhamdulillah.
you've gone through it too.
Yeah, yeah. Certainly have gone through my, I don't know. I mean, fruitful. Thank you. I appreciate it. Definitely a diverse childhood and diverse experience in growing up. Moved quite a bit growing up. It was about 30 sometimes that I've moved around.
Wow.
So between apartments, homes, all
What
kinds of things.
experience.
Yeah. So you learn to navigate life. And, one thing I will say to both of my parents is that ability to move around and being in different scenarios, having to learn a different environment, different people, it does build character, but also builds a sense of resilience within you. And, not a lot of regrets from that space in my childhood. What's happened has happened. And, God is like, Allah is so, so, so merciful. Like, He's planted me to be where I am with the right people
Right.
at the right time. So, very grateful for that. But as far as like friendships go, I think for me personally, I've struggled because I have moved so much. It has genuinely been very difficult to build, um,
A
you know,
stable
a
relationship.
stable, correct, a consistent, stable friendship where it is mutually understood that, you can count on each other, right? It doesn't have to be a transactional type of friendship.
Mhm.
And we all know we've had those in our lives too. And for me, I have realized that I have like my three best friends from a very long time ago. I've got a friend from eighth grade, I've got another friend from the 11th grade, and then I have another friend that I met in college. And since then I haven't found another close best friend to rely on because with
Mhm.
these three individuals, we could literally pick up the phone. We may not have spoken in months or, sometimes, God forbid, it has happened where it's like a year has gone by because we needed time to ourselves or whatever it
Mhm.
was to heal. And within those time, like when we answer the phone, it's like we pick it right back up right
Right.
where it was. And, I feel very blessed and fortunate to have that, but it's painful that our distance is so far. I've got the friends in California, another one in excuse me, well, one's not too far away that's local, but I've got another one that lives all the way in actually they're both on the West Coast in Denver. So, it's a variety of scenarios, but I will say because I built those healthy relationships and because I know they're not perfect, those three best friends of mine, it's not perfect, but they're healthy in the sense that we respect each other, we have boundaries, we understand each other, and without a doubt, we have so much love, immense love and support for each other.
Mm.
It's been hard for me to find that type of connection as I've moved around, even as an adult. But I will say, like, alhamdulillah, like, you all have seen me and Sonia pretty much become friends live in front of you all. Granted, we've known each other for over 15 years,
Mhm.
but it was through association to my cousin,
We're
right? So,
more
like, we weren't
acquaintances, yeah.
yeah, we were more acquaintances. We'd see each other in invitations, dawats, we'd say, "Hey, hi, salam," and that was it. So now that we've at least built this connection and, genuinely most people will say don't mix business with, your personal friends or
Yeah.
family. But alhamdulillah, like I've lived through a simple motto of if I'm going to work hard and be passionate about something, I want to work with people that are like-minded and people that will be either friends or family because we're going to be on the same page. We're going to have each other's back and we'll have the best intentions for each
Right.
other. So I'm grateful that I've met you.
Same here.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. But I will say on the flip side, right? So like the toxic part, I will share that I have definitely lost many friends in the past, and I learned what transactional relationships was early in college. I'll
Mhm.
say that early in college time. So there were times where, because I was moving so much, I didn't have a ton of friends, and that was okay. I never cared for a lot of friends. It was just, as long as I had the one or two girls. But during this time of friendship, there were some people that would pop in and out of my life as they wanted to and what was more convenient for them.
Right.
And during the early college time, I also realized that if it was a special occasion for me, I was buying my friends. It sounds so terrible to say this, but those who know me through my college days, they'll know that we would get together for birthday events, things like that. We'd go out to sushi. I would pay for everyone. And
Wow.
I know it sounds so shallow though, because I was also missing that part in my life of feeling like a sense of home. So I was buying my friends in that sense. Like I would spoil them by doing things. And again, it sounds very shallow. I'm not saying that's the correct thing to do at all, but that is when I realized what toxic friendship is and what it looks like and how transactional relationships can be because it can't be that I always have to give them something, right? And it was very rare that this group of people that I knew in and out, they were very rarely there for me,
Yeah.
right? I also had some healthy friends during that time too. So if anybody's watching, I don't want it to be misunderstood. I also had some amazing friends that we knew exactly when to be in each other's lives.
Mhm.
Friends that helped me move, friends that helped me, my gosh, deal with a whole bunch of emotional, mess that I was going through between my religion, being in and out of Islam, understanding what the deen was, and finding myself in a spiritual space. Like I had a lot of Christian friends when I was growing up, and alhamdulillah, like they were all very good people. And at the end of the day, that's what I've realized also with our deen is we're not created in that sense to just like isolate other religions. That's
Right.
not what Islam is about. Islam is such a beautiful, tranquil, peaceful religion. And I hope that I can emulate that, in how I behave and who's in my circle of friends
Mhm.
too. So I would say like for me, yeah, I mean it's a long answer for you, but for me, like I've definitely shared my experience with toxic friendship.
So it's funny that you say that because I think I saw a reel recently that said that each friend serves a different purpose for you in your life.
Mm.
So the friend who's there for you when you're failing is not the same friend that's there for you that's cheering you on. And you're going to have a different friend for just different parts of your life because
Mm-hmm.
not all of them can meet you at that emotional level that you're at. Like you said, you had one
100%.
friend that was helping you move, another friend, when you're going through Islam. So each
Yeah.
friend serves a different purpose. And, I think that's beautiful that you can have a variety of people to rely on. And then there's not like a one box or one size. Maybe there
Yeah.
could be. But it's okay to have like that variety, but then having that the very close few, it's not a popularity contest,
Right.
especially after you've had many years of this experience. It's not about how many friends, but the genuine person that's there for you, that truly cares for you,
Right.
are the ones that matter, and those are the ones that you need to help nurture and foster and make sure it's a two-way relationship as well, that you're not
Yes.
the only one that's constantly, um, you know, being the damsel in distress
Right.
per se,
Right. We
make
can't always be the victim. You
yeah,
can't always be the one who's talking all the
right.
time, right? Like, share the platform with your friends. Like, allow them to also share their sadness, sorrows, whatever it is. And sometimes, like, even like as we've grown into our friendship, there are times where I say to Sonia, I'll say, like, hey, listen, like, we've done too much talking because, maybe I was going through getting married and I've had to say, like, I'm talking too much. So share with me a little bit more about what's going on with you. So we've had to like give each other that balance. But again, that's happened with wisdom, as you mentioned
Mhm.
earlier. It's taken me time. I don't know if I was this emotionally
Cognizant, right?
cognizant.
Yeah,
Yeah, like my EQ wasn't 100% as far as like the self-awareness.
yeah.
I don't know if I was fully as empathetic as I am today as I
Mhm,
was before. So there's different levels of ownership in there too. Now I wanted to ask you this question.
mhm,
So I know we talked about your children
mm.
briefly. So we also talked about like how you're raising them, but also in reference to the toxic friendship. Have you ever been in a scenario where a toxic friendship can be saved, where you can bring back that friendship to become better? Almost to say, like, you can rebrand your friendship.
I think
And if you haven't, do you have any recommendations
I
for
think it
it?
goes back to where, what I said in my 20s, I was more inverted. I just kind of let it go. I didn't talk about it.
Hmm.
I think it takes a lot of courage and bravery to actually have a discussion about it.
Right.
Like, hey, let's talk about what's going on. Why aren't we like we used to be? Did I do something like that I need to make sure that I'm not repeating it and that I need to apologize for? Maybe I wasn't aware.
Right.
Or maybe you did something and then I need to like clear the air, like, hey, this was not okay.
Because misunderstandings can
Right,
happen.
and it happens on so many different levels, and it's so important to, just suck it up and have that conversation because it might have been such a beautiful friendship that you're missing out on moving forever with, right?
Yeah.
So just have that conversation and see where it goes from there. Like maybe it becomes something where it was just something so trivial and something small, but you're holding grudges and being petty for no reason.
Right.
And then you can blossom that beautiful friendship back. Or if it was something like, okay, yeah, we can't, it's a personality change, whatever it is, something that drove people apart just for different reasons, then for sure, like, hey, this person is not meant to be in my life. I'm ready to like move on to a different person.
Yeah, I agree.
Do you
I
feel
can
similar?
I've definitely felt similar to that.
Yeah.
I have definitely been in that same scenario, actually, very similar, and I would say, like, I asked a question too about rebranding a friendship.
Mhm.
I think I can name 2 in my heart. I can think of 2 that there were misunderstandings, and we tried to make it work. Unfortunately, both of and it takes 2, like, it's a
Oh,
relationship at the end of the
absolutely.
day. It's still a relationship, so no matter what our intentions are and we're trying to, like, go above and beyond, the other person has to be able to equally meet, right? So, I learned it the hard way, but, we always talk about pouring into ourselves, like, we can't pour into others with an empty cup, and it's similar as far as relationships and a friendship. If they're not pouring into you with time, effort, you're also going to have a hard time matching that
Yeah.
same energy and vibe, right? I will say one example. So there's a newer friend that I made, and lovely gal, and kudos to her. I won't say any names, but kudos to her. My life was going like over 100 miles an hour, like just really, really fast. And yes, I just said over 100 miles an hour. But anyway, this gal, she's amazing, and, subhanAllah, like, we met at the right time, and she's such a sweetheart. We've known each other for about a year, we've been in touch, but we haven't, like, had a lot of intimate one-on-ones. We would meet up for coffee from time to time. We both have young children, so it's quite busy for us. Okay, nonetheless, she sends me a message, and, like, sending a message versus speaking to someone can be read in different ways,
Mhm.
different
The
tones,
tones, yeah.
etcetera. Yes.
The intention is very different behind it.
Exactly. And this young lady, I think she did an outstanding job. And I took a note of like, hey, if I ever have to address it to
Yeah.
somebody else, like I'm gonna do it just like she did. She was very polite, very respectful, but she made a passive comment, not referencing her and I, but this passive comment was basically saying that friends have to pour into each other, like friends, and then she said we should make more effort because we live so close to each other too. Like we should really make more effort in
Mhm.
trying to see each other and being more intentional. Wallah, like within less than a week, she and I, like we were talking about months trying to meet up, but just that message from her within a week, like we both made it happen. We met up for lunch and we hung out for 2 hours.
Yeah.
She had her child with her. So it just sometimes you need to have, I don't want to say necessarily a gut check, but sometimes even in friendship there has to be a level of like accountability, but that's where you build that bond and trust, where if I can't share with you like, hey, listen, I feel like we're not talking enough
Mm.
about what's going on in my life, or hey, I feel like we haven't really had some time to bond,
Yeah.
it makes a difference when you go above and beyond. Just be the bigger person
Right.
and have the bigger heart. And I feel like that's what I want to give this young lady kudos to is maybe I could say her name. But anyways, Warda. Okay, Warda, she
Yeah.
was just absolutely amazing in how she handled that. And I'm grateful for my new friendship with her. Like I'm so glad that she was able to call that out on
Yeah.
both of us. She wasn't blaming me. She
Right.
was just saying, hey, we both need to be better.
Yeah.
And the accountability really did make a difference for both of us. And we made so much more effort.
Yeah.
In less than a week, we saw each
That's
other.
amazing. And
Yeah,
that's what I mean by surrounding yourself with people that elevate you,
right.
right? The lessons that you learn, because you're going to have so many different types of people. Some people just want to talk about other people. Some people want to talk about just where you're at in life and
Just
how to
catch
grow.
up.
Yeah. And it's
Yeah,
just like, gravitate towards the people that are feeding your soul pretty
right.
much and
I love
elevating it,
that.
right? So it's just, yeah, there's been a lot of toxicity in my life, and filtering through it is just
Same.
it's such a refresher when you're not having to be tied down to, you know, people that are pulling you down and away from what you're capable of. There's so much out there that can grow you and inspire you and encourage you and just bring that happiness into your life. And those are the types of people you want to surround yourself with. And if you're around the people that are just draining you, stressing you out, you're thinking about them when you're not even with them because, like, why did
Yeah,
this person say this and that? Like,
yeah.
just start making your distance. If you need to have that conversation with them, then do it. But if you really know it's a toxic situation, then just start moving yourself away and start exploring, different avenues on making new friends. And like, alhamdulillah, I'm so grateful, like, for us and
Yeah,
how,
yeah.
like, it was crazy because we started and we literally got to know each
Just
other.
supposed to be work.
Yeah, it was supposed to be work, and we're getting to know each other like on air. And now it's like we'd get together to film, and we're just kind of chit chatting about our lives, and we don't even film anymore.
Yeah, and I'll share this openly with everybody who's paying attention to this part. Yeah, we were actually going through video edits, right?
Yeah.
And we're on the process of hiring potentially a new team because this is what we do. Like you have to continue to stay relevant.
Yeah.
And as we were going through previous clips, we found that we were in the same different clothes, but I'm saying like we would be in one outfit and we would do like multiple episodes in one day. So we were doing like batch recording. Well, these days, it's like 1 hour of us,
I mean,
girl catch up,
we'll
and
get
then we'll do like
lucky.
1 or 2 episodes.
If that. I think last week we were supposed to do that. And we ended up just talking the whole time.
I love it.
But I love it because it just shows like the more we got to know each other of how compatible we are and how much we love the energy of being with each other. And I love that we're doing this weekly because we can see each other.
Exactly. Yes. I love
But
it.
yeah, just grow your healthy relationships. You're just going to be so much happier.
Yes.
And
You control who's in your circle,
yeah.
who's in your life. So at the end of the day, make a priority, make a list of who is feeding your soul, like Sonia said, who is truly pouring into your cup just as much as you are for them. And share with us any tips or tricks that you have, things that have worked for you. We look forward to hearing from you. Comment, share, and subscribe.